Alright, what's up everybody? This is Gross of the Dan and Gross Talking Nonsense podcast. I put up a poll last night to see if you guys wanted me to do the first ever, I guess you could call it box break or card opening for the Dan and Gross Talking Nonsense podcast. Now, this bit is directly stolen from Chad Dukes and his buddy the Ant-Man from the Rodcast and Rodcast Cards. They do a much better job at this than I do, so if you're going to go anywhere for that, check them out first before you watch this. So I told you guys that I was going to be opening up the old Pinnacle 1997 inside card. And you might be looking at this thinking this does not look like a pack of cards. The difference is because it's actually a can. It is actually a can of cards. So back in 1996 and 1997, and I believe maybe even in 1998, or maybe it was just 97 and 98, I was a kid and me and my dad went around town looking for these things left and right. And I stumbled across these and I literally have hundreds of them. Now, they're probably worth about 10 cents a piece, so I have a fortune of about $20 worth of these cans. As you can see, I have an old Deion Sanders football. I have a classic Cal Ripken baseball from 1998. Here's a vintage Dan Marino 50,000 passing yards. And I also have, what else did I pull out? A Mike Piazza from 1998. These things were like mega popular when I was a kid. We used to go to card stores and they would have this part where it told you what it was covered. So you didn't know if you were getting a legitimate can, if you were getting a repeater can, you had to take your chance. But the deal was they were $1 a can. So you could get something really cool. Like Cal Ripken, obviously being from Baltimore, was a very hot item. The Dan Marino 50,000 passing yards at the time was a hot item when cards were worth something. Now I probably have about $1 worth of luxury items in my hands right now. So, people are probably wondering why the hell I want to do this. The bottom line is because, like I said, I saw Chad Dukes and the Ant-Man doing it with Marvel cards. Now, I'm not a big enough Marvel guy to understand the cards or to understand who the characters are, so I can't do that. But I do know sports, and I happen to have, now out of all these cans I have, I'm telling you, I have hundreds of these. This was the only one, this one was the only one that I could find that was not opened. Bizarre. I don't know why that was the only can that was not open, but it was not open. Like as you can see, I guess my father thought it was stealthy to not open the top because we opened all the bottoms. And as you can see, they're numbered. So you can see there, it's supposed to be 18. It looks like it's 81 from your perspective. But yeah, all these cans were numbered. So you got 6. We've got number 3 right there. So it's pretty wild. It was a pretty wild concept, and I was doing some research, aka going onto YouTube. And opening up cards on YouTube has become immensely popular. And I was going on YouTube and looking for this specific card because now I'm curious to know if I have the complete set of football and baseball cards. And people were talking about like what a gimmick this was. Obviously it is a gimmick, and it was right before the trading card, I guess, bust, if you want to call it. So I guess companies were trying to throw everything at the wall to see what would happen. But it's interesting to me. I think these are neat. I think this is something that probably not a lot of people remember, and it's something different. So I'm going to pop this bad boy open. It's the only one I have. Like as I was watching box break videos on the internet, people were literally opening up dozens and dozens of cards. And here's what I found out about the cards that, I guess they turn around and sell these online. Like I've seen the Rodcast cards, they'll sell those on their Twitter. The boxes you have to buy for those are crazy expensive. So I'm kind of doing this as a test, I guess, to see if anybody would be interested in ever purchasing cards. And like I went on to the one top, so if you don't know, collecting cards have become crazy. Like the ones over at Rodcast Cards, some of the boxes they've opened, they have these cards they call Relic that have like pieces of the uniform or the costume or whatever you want to call it from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like it'll have a piece of Iron Man's suit, or it'll have a piece of Captain America's suit in the card, which I think is fascinating. For the sports cards, they'll have a piece of the jersey, or they'll have like autograph cards. So I find that interesting, but some of these boxes are like $150. You get 3 cards. It's unbelievable. So I'm curious to know if anybody would actually be interested if I ever were to do this again. So this is, I guess, kind of our test run. So of course I have to bring my can opener to open these cards. I've had this sitting down here for like, I can't even tell you how long. A couple months just staring at these cards. So I'm actually going to open them now, so you can see that I'm not faking. God, I haven't opened this since 1997. This is actually a big deal. It's been 22 years in the making. 22 years. So, as you can see, there's probably about, I wonder if it says it on the can. So there's 10 cards per can. They come nice and folded up in a pack. And I guess I don't want to spoil it, so I won't show you what the first card is. I don't know how the video came across. You might have seen it already. Let's see if I can get this bad boy open. Okay, here we are. So it has a little booklet that says, "These cans are cool." And it's a great way to show off. Oh, they were actually, so back in the day, I'm not sure if I can still order this. It's only $29.99. But I have a feeling it's no longer for sale. But they have a Pinnacle inside display. That's what this is, if you can see it there. And it says it's a great way to show off your cans. It's a 24 can display of real wood. And all you had to do was send a check. Come on, they don't know what Venmo is in 1997? And you have to allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. Thank God Amazon came showing up, right? Oh, so they actually do have, okay, so that's the kind of the outside of it. And then they've got a bunch of information on the inside here. And on the inside, it tells you about the excitement of card collecting, which I know you're all very excited about. And it says it's one of the easiest and most enjoyable ways to get into the sport of football is by collecting cards. Some may say it's fantasy football, but collecting cards has to be number 2. The first time you purchase a pack at a hobby shop or pick up some while shopping, you're a collector. A definite lingo exists among card collectors. Wow, why the hell did they print this? But so they also say, look for these chase cards and cans. Now, I don't know what that means. Again, this is 22 years old, so it might be older than somebody that actually ends up watching this. But apparently they have autograph cards. So they give you a list of autograph cards. They give you a list of 4th and goal cards. I don't know what that is. And then it seems to me that, oh, so here's the list of cans. So good news, folks. We'll be able to check our, I guess, amount of 1997 Pinnacle inside cards or cans that we actually have. So, I guess the important part is let's get to the cards, right? All right, so let's see. First card we have here is what the hell is that? Andre Hastings, who was a receiver for the Steelers. Now, I don't like the Steelers, so I don't have a goddamn clue who he is. But the designs on these are pretty cool, right? They got the kind of the gold shininess of their name, and they've got the Pinnacle logo up at the top. And then I kind of like the main picture and then the action shot in the little gray strip there. And then on the back it gives kind of, let's see, gives his information, his weight, his height, all the, you know, stuff you want to know about at the combine. Then kind of gives some of his information about his college, his pros, gives his major, gives his college major. You think they would ever put that on a card these days? I don't think so. This has to be worth 25 cents, I bet. All right, next we have, oh, now this is an old school one here. Cordell Stewart. For all you Steelers fans, this is quite a pack so far. Cordell, the triple threat, who could throw it, run it, and catch it. Wow, this is a list. This is a list of quarterback cards we got going on here. Brad Johnson, when he played for the Vikings, also won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. So far, here's what I understand about cards and what they call like the standard card in all of these. I've learned that they call them base cards. I'm assuming the base card, since these have all looked similar so far, I'm assuming this is what's known as a base card. And yes, I'm stacking those up if anybody can't figure the magic out between Brad Johnson and not Brad Johnson. So far, 3 base cards. I don't know what we're supposed to get as far as what could possibly be in a pack. Oh, and they're also numbered up at the top if you can't see. I don't know how many of these cards were in the collection. It's probably some research I should have done beforehand, but I didn't because nobody wants to buy these. Okay, here's this next one. A Hall of Famer and an Oakland Raider great, Tim Brown. Tim Brown in a nice base card here. I really like these cards. They're really cool looking. Like, now when I look at cards these days, because like I told you, I did a bunch of research, aka watching YouTube videos. They all just have one look and like a border, that like some shiny or fancy border. They don't have this cool kind of breakdown where it's main action shot and then information on the side with his name. These are kind of cool. And then again, they have the strip on the back that kind of gives you another look and then a main picture. I think these are actually really cool cards. I'm disappointed that they haven't done this series for 22 years. As you can tell, since I didn't open this pack in 22 years. Let's see what we have here. This next card, wow. This is a doozy of a pack so far. Now, they're all base cards from what I can understand and tell. But we've got some good base cards here. This next card, another Hall of Famer and another quarterback, Mr. Brett Favre. You got to like that card, right? Everybody liked Brett Favre. I guess until he started pulling his junk out and showing it to reporters. But everybody likes Green Bay Brett Favre. New York Jets Brett Favre, Minnesota Vikings Brett Favre. Not too many people like those guys. So it's interesting. It looks like there's a lot of power players in this deck so far. It seems as if they gave you just the big names and a bunch of base cards and not so many like fancy pants, or I don't even know what they call them. Like they say these 4th and goal cards. Like I wonder what that's supposed to be. And since we only have one pack, I can't verify it against anything else. This next card we have here, another base card, Mr. Antonio Freeman, also from the Green Bay Packers. A lot of multiples on teams I'm noticing as well. Steelers, Packers, but Antonio Freeman, great receiver for Brett Favre. Another solid receiver in the league for many years, Mr. Herman Moore. Played for the Lions. Was a good college player, too. All right, we have... Now, they say this guy's a quarterback. He must have played for a week, because I do not remember Kent Graham. If anybody remembers Kent Graham, more power to you. But I have a feeling this is a premier card of the 97 deck, because I don't know if he made it to 98. And then last but not... Well, I actually have 2 more cards here. I apologize. Yeah, another quarterback, another Hall of Famer, John Elway. Pretty interesting. So far, I'd say... Now, these probably are worth 5 cents. But it's nice to see some big names in here. And then the last card... Okay, so this is actually something different. So this card is not a base card. That's what I can tell from looking at it. It seems to be what they call a top newcomer, which I'm assuming this is... yeah, this has to be Walter Jones's rookie card from 1997. And on the back, so as you can see, the front is different than what we saw with the base cards. So you can see the difference there. And the back also looks different compared to the base card. And the back, if you can't kind of break down and read what it says, it basically just tells you who he was drafted by, his position, his height, his weight, and when he was born. And then it kind of gives you a little bit of a background about who he is. I would say, if anything, this card probably holds the most value of the deck because, one, it's not a base card, and two, I believe Walter Jones is a Hall of Famer now. If not, he had a damn good career. Now, the other cards are probably worth 5 cents. This might be worth 10. So this is a big card. So I'm keeping this to sell. Just kidding. Yeah, but that is the deck for the Pinnacle inside cards. So I have no idea where this goes from here. I would like to do more of this, but if I do more of this, I just don't want to collect baseball cards. I would probably try to sell them, as most other box breaks, as they call them, do. So fatties of the Dan and Gross podcast, if you like this, let me know. Maybe I'll start considering what I do next, when I do it next. But this is a new hobby of mine, as far as I'm definitely way into it. So we'll see what kind of manifests from it. Dan and I are taking the week off. We will be back next week. So I know I keep promising you a Jams and Juice. I'm going to try and get that done. It's just been kind of a crazy 2 weeks, so I apologize. But yeah, this was our first box break with the Pinnacle 97 football cards, and I hope you enjoyed it. See ya.